First, I'd like to thank you all as well, not only for your service, but appearing here today, and for the candor of some of your answers. They're not exactly always what we want to hear, but we do want to hear your candor. My fellow commissioners have covered a lot of the ground that I wanted to deal with. In particular, though, we all would yearn to have the ability to know not only that there's a coordinating body that can now assemble all these facts, but there will be a body that can connect those dots, to use the overused phrase. So anything that anyone can give us, either in these sessions or maybe more appropriately, much more appropriately in private sessions, the Commission would welcome and would like to extend that charge to you if we could. In specific regard to just clearing up a few things, I must say, Ms. Bucella, I need your help on something, because good old Washington, if there is any way that there's a division of responsibility, if there's any power shifting around, there's the temptation to duplicate effort and to replicate task. And you said that in your testimony, I believe you said it's good terrorism information is now in one place. But now, as I understand it, TSC checks intelligence that's gathered from agencies against terrorist watch lists.
What we do is we have the terrorist identities information. There's it would be the name of the terrorist and a few other identifiers. We do not maintain the actual file or background information about that. That information is still maintained by all of the gathering agencies, the originating agencies. So what we have is the location of knowing the names and identities of the terrorists.
Okay, then bear with me just a little here. DHS had a press release, and they said that the majority of the information received from you comes from TTIC. After it's assembled and analyzed the information from numerous sources, then it ends up going to you. Now, if TTIC gathers most of the information and was created to bridge the gap we all sense between foreign and domestic intelligence gathering sources, and you receive the information from the FBI, and it receives information from the FBI as well, why isn't TSC simply located in TTIC? Or what added benefit is achieved by you being located in the FBI, if any?
I don't know if I have an answer to that, since the creation of the TSC came out of HSPD 6. But the information that we have comes from two different sources. The domestic terrorist information comes from the FBI. That is not sitting at TTIC.
Right.
The international terrorist information goes through the TTIC. So there are two trunks of information coming in. That information, though, is, again, only the identities of terrorists that are known and suspected. The background information still resides at TTIC.
Excuse me, if I could just interrupt. When you say domestic, you mean non-terrorism related. In other words, the FBI's information on terrorists, that is, people who are in the United States but have some relationship to terrorism, would go to TTIC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Not if they were abortion bombers or something.
No, I'm saying if they were related to international terrorists.
That's correct.
Yes.
So the only piece, just to clarify here, the only piece that TSC has that TTIC wouldn't have would be what we would call a domestic terrorist, an abortion clinic bomber, or the Oklahoma City model militia terrorist.
Do you agree? I mean, am I just missing something here? Because you see what my question was.
TTIC is an analytic organization. We have no operational function whatsoever. So that a decision to, we will nominate to a watch list, but Donna's people will decide whether or not it meets the criteria, and we'll put it on the watch list and interact with CT Watch and so forth. We don't do that.
Well, okay. Ambassador Harty, just let me ask a follow-up question on you. We're dealing, unfortunately, with what-ifs all the time here. And one of the areas that really was troublesome in analyzing what's happened at 9/11 was the whole visa applicant issue. The questioning of applicants in Saudi Arabia has caused problems of concerns. So I guess a couple-part question to you. Have the changes in interview policies since 9/11 changed that as well? Are you now interviewing far more visa applicants? And are there any examples you can help us to demonstrate whether this is leading to anything positive? And the other side of that, I would like to also say, one of the major concerns was that people were getting visas without really giving fulsome information or even complete information. And are you satisfied now that there is a policy and an implementation policy that now differs today so that that would not happen again under ordinary circumstances?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. With respect to changes in visa interview policy, we last August put into place a policy that had already, in the immediate aftermath of September 11th, begun informally by many, many posts, and that is we see just about everybody now. The reasons for that are that we believe the interview is a useful thing to do, as I said earlier, to sort of drill down through a story. But the other part of it is we have a congressional mandate to collect a biometric feature to embed in a non-immigrant visa, and so we are seeing people because we are also taking a digital sort of scan of their fingerprints. So we are seeing almost everybody. The exceptions concord with the exceptions given by DHS at ports of entry, younger than 14, older than 79. With respect to your question, whether or not that means we have anything to show for it, you didn't put it that way, I will. The real truth is when you see people and you can drill down through a story, you may not, certainly almost never, if ever, at the end of an interview say, yep, that was a terrorist, I got him. What you do say is what you heard that inspector say earlier today. Somebody gives you pause. Somebody, in his words, gives you the creeps. Somebody's story doesn't concord with the reality you know, speaking the language and living in that country. That somebody doesn't get a right to go to America. And that's a very useful thing to do in an interview.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all very much.